Welcome everyone once again to Quick Reviews. So before we get started with this week's books or what I got this week, I gotta give a shout out to Sleepy Reader 666 because I saw his comment on the blog for my review on Wonder Woman number 28. And I know I'm glad you're liking the reviews and everybody else should too. So down below there's a link to the blog so you can check out the reviews and all the other content from my blog, other reviews I've been doing or did. There's some stories there as well that I've written. But yeah, you should check it out and uh, tell me what you think about all the content. So we are starting March. Last week was the last week of February, which is usually a very heavy week for me. This week was particularly heavy that I just couldn't get all the books that I wanted. There are at least a couple of books I didn't get. One because it didn't arrive at my shop, and that's All-Star Western. So no Jonah Hex for me this week, and that kind of made me sad. Hopefully it arrives this week. Um, and the other one is Batman Superman. I just couldn't fit it into my this week's books. I have a budget every week, and it was that book or another one. So I chose the other one over Batman Superman, particularly because it's in a crossover with World's Finest. That was just another extra book I didn't want to get. I haven't actually read World's Finest since probably since the zero issue. I had to drop that book, not because I didn't like it, but because I was getting way too many books at that time and I just couldn't manage to fit it in. Anyways, on with the books that I got. First up, Superman number 28. Lots of stuff going on here. Um, Mostly, it's just set up for next issue. Um, that book starts with Lois Lane in the middle of a shootout. Uh, she's, on her way along with the police. They got involved with some people. Usually, they actually expected something like a drug bust or something, but it just became something really uncontrollable that couldn't be controlled. Uh, to the point that we learned that Lois still has some of that Brainiac power. So last issue, Superman allowed the Parasite to suck a lot of that energy, which actually got Lois out of her coma, but she still has some of that Brainiac power. Meanwhile, Superman's in space. He discovers a weird door that actually had has sort of like a black hole thing. They're like mini black holes, so he couldn't really do much. Doctor Veritas is there as well, via hologram, uh, who's been analyzing the door as well, and said that the best way to proceed is just to keep monitoring it until something develops. So Superman feels kind of helpless because he usually is a man of action. So letting things not being able to do anything sort of is frustrating. He comes back home only to discover that Jimmy Olsen, who for a time had been Clark's roommate, returned. Then Kat shows up, Catherine Grant, and she tells Clark about Morgan Edge's offer to buy the blog. Of course, Clark says they're not going to sell. There's a really nice moment there. But Jim, in his very annoying way, actually points out that Morgan Edge and Galaxy wouldn't be buying a content site, and it's probable that they just want to shut them down because there might be some story they don't want to be leaked. So that's interesting because that also takes us to Sam Lane, now Senator Sam Lane, who took the empty seat left by the senator who actually infected Lewis or passed the brainiac power to Lewis and then died. So we keep hearing about this tower thing, but there's really not a lot of clear information yet. So hopefully this gets resolved soon, because the doomed event is coming, and then Love Does Run, and so let's hope this gets resolved sooner than later. Then the issue basically ends. Clark goes to the police station after he learns of Lewis's predicament. But Lewis tells him that she's okay. So as Superman, he actually goes to interrogate one of the men that were captured. But he's not getting a lot of information, or as he's during the questioning, Starfire shows up in a rather violent and surprising way. And then next issue. The art is by Brett Booth, and it's really nice, especially with the whole acting part. But I just enjoyed the quieter moments as well. These quieter moments. But there's one thing that still up for up in the air is, does Lewis know that does she still remember that Clark is Superman? Well, the look there kind of seems to indicate that she does, but throughout their conversation there's not much of a hint of that. But it's still does she remember? Seems she does, but she's not really telling Clark that she knows. At least she hasn't blown his cover. So really great issue. Really love the cover by Ed Benes. Really, I mean, this month, February, Superman got a couple of really cool covers. This one and the one in Action Comics. Awesome covers. Next up, Superman Lois Lane one shot. This is a good story. It didn't really impress me too much. I've heard a few people saying that they really like this book. To me, it was okay for the most part. By the way, so we do get some background information on Lois and Sister Lucy Lane, which, by the way, this is not Lucy's first appearance. Her first appearance was back in Superman number 7 through 12, which was written and drawn by Dan Jorgens, and she was already set up as a possible romantic interest for Clark until DC decided to hook up Superman and Wonder Woman. But basically just Lois, you know, doing what Lois does, investigating, trying to find Lucy's roommate who's gone missing. There's some weird drug that's going out that turns people into monsters. Lois, uncovers it, threatens to get it out. Blah blah blah. Nothing impressive, but I got it because it's Lois Lane. So I love Lois Lane, and I hope that I actually pre-ordered this at my shop because I hope and I hope a lot of people pick this book up because it shows that despite the so-so quality of the story, uh, it shows that Lois can still hold her own and have her own book. So that would be really cool. What was really good, and just because the best book I've read so far this year, like I said in my Twitter account when this came out, when I got this on Friday, is Aquaman number 28. And while the few of the subplots are moving along, we have the Triton base, that base where that appeared showed up last issue. It actually picks up where it left off with the diver being attacked by sharks. Uh, he finds out about this Triton base. Aquaman finds out about it, he's not very happy, but there isn't really much he can do. So he goes back to Amnesty Bay, but he tells the other Atlantean that was with him and Mera to keep an to tell the council in Atlantis to keep an eye on them. Um, the other subplot, the one that started since Parker's first issue, um, with the man looking for Aquaman. Um, he finally makes his move. He can get in touch with Aquaman, but so he actually breaks into the lighthouse, steals the trident, and unleashes something at the very end. What we don't know. We'll find out probably next issue. But the main meat of the book is Aquaman goes to his high school reunion, and that was a lot of fun. And it shows that this issue is basically a breather issue. Last issue was all action, and and it ends with the setup for next issue. So this is a breather issue, bridges that gap between the last arc and the upcoming arc. But it was a lot of fun. You hardly ever get issues like this, where it's just nothing really happens and it's just all fun. So yeah, really enjoyable issue. Really a lot of fun. Um, Flash number 28. Um, so in this issue, we find out that the killer, um, the ghost killer that showed up at the end of last issue, is actually the man that was killed, that was at the beginning of last issue, in the 1900s, the late 1900s, 1800s. Sorry about that. I was thinking 18th century. The late 1800s. We get a lot of background information. Sorry about that. On why Keystone City and Central are known as the Gem Cities. There's a lot of background information in this issue. As Flash, with the help of Deadman, investigate the this mystery killer. Apparently, no connection between any of the other killers and his mother's death has been established. Um, So, a lot of stuff it happened, I guess, a lot of information that we got. Um, but, still it's an okay story. I mean, it didn't wow me a lot. Details number 28. Oh, I really don't know what to say about this issue. It was an okay issue. Pretty much Lobdell breaking up the Titans. Kid Flash, you know, or Bartor was in a rampage. There's a lot of battle going. There's a battle going on. It finally stops when his sister shows up, and apparently Solstice does something quite shocking, just so she can stay with Bart. Finally, Dark Savage number 3 from Dynamite. Another excellent issue, as always a Dunning one. And it does have a running thread, but you can enjoy the issue if you haven't been picked up the other two. You can really pick this issue up and you get a full story. Um, this time the story takes place in 1861. Uh, Doc Savage finally reveals his top secret project, something he's been working on since the late 30s. Uh, and he finally reveals it to the world, which is a sort of a serum made out of a plant that, you know, turns back aging, apparently gets rid of disease. And you get your typical reactions of why Doc Savage didn't or did what he did until a terrorist decides to threaten New York if Doc Savage didn't give the serum to this group. Its leader being a very rich man, by the way. Now he threatens to nuke New York unless his demands are met. Doc Savage goes to take care of the situation, but at the very end, the villain um, does send out the nukes. Is uh, um, but not to New York, but to the island where Doc Savage had the plants that made the serum, pretty much destroying everything. And so in the end, the fate of this project that Doc had worked so hard for gets destroyed because of his own doing at the end. If he revealed the existence of this flower, it's a flower, earlier, then there would have been more of them, and not just the ones that Doc had kept for himself, I guess, until he was pretty sure of of it working, without harming people. So it was a calculated risk, I suppose, but Doc Savage ended up paying the uh, the highest price. So like I say, a really nice, adventure type thing, story, fun read, Dunning ones, but it is, an arc, I guess. The art, I really like the art in this book. Anyways, this is the here we got the and you know and, You should all check it out. No, and tell me what you think. So, well, I thought I was gonna go for a half hour with all of this, but you know, it's only 20 plus minutes. So I guess I have nothing else to say. You know, let's go through the books that I got. Superman 28, Superman Lois Lane one shot, Aquaman number 28, the best book I've actually read. Well, maybe not so far this year, but at least this week. Flash number 28, Teen Titans number 28, and Dark Savage number 3. So, like I always say at the end of every video I make, until next time, keep smiling.